Hi, my name is Lawrence Price, and today I want to talk to you about stakeholder management. So, this is a great tool that, as you're managing a project or managing some type of significant change inside your organization, it's a great tool to kind of keep track of where you're going, big picture wise, when it comes to managing your stakeholders and just ongoing action items that you may have. So, without further ado, I will bring up this template and we'll just kind of walk through it together. So here you'll see just a screenshot of the template that I like to use. This first column here, you have the stakeholder. And so here, what you really want to do is identify an individual, not necessarily a group. So for example, let's say that one of your stakeholder groups or audiences that you're wanting to make sure that you communicate with is the executive administrators inside your company. Well, who is what one person, an individual within that group is able to influence them. That's the individual that you really want to manage here as a stakeholder. And then when you're thinking about them, what is their level of influence and level of interest inside when it comes to your project? This could change, of course, over the course of your project, but this is always going to be a snapshot in time. And it's important as a change agent to think through the nuances between influence and interest. I've had stakeholders that had a lot of influence inside the organization, but their interest was very low. So they're a little bit of disengaged. Then I've also had stakeholders that were very interested, but their influence was low. And of course, you'll have stakeholders that fall in between. The next set of rows or next set of columns really are about just the different dispositions of what that stakeholder is at. So, before you have those initial conversations with your stakeholders, they're all unaware of the change. The next one over is kind of they're questioning the change or they're resistant to it. The next here is that, hey, I'm a little indifferent. I'm willing to permit it or just stay out of the way. The next is, hey, I'm going to help you make this happen. I'm going to give you the resources. And then last but not least, they feel responsible for making the change. Your stakeholders are going to fall in a variety of these different spaces. What I do is before I even have my first conversation with the stakeholder, I think through where do I really need that particular individual to be? Right. So in this example here, I say, hey, I really need them to be willing to help make it happen. And after I have my initial conversation with them, I see that they're really at a place where they're questioning the change and looking to resist. And I'll draw an arrow between connecting where they're at to where I need them to be. And of course, over the course of the project, in order to make it successful, you want all these arrows to either go away or be as small as possible. And after each kind of go around with stakeholders, I start identifying action items. These are action items that I myself identify. It's like, hey, I'm going to establish a weekly meeting with this particular stakeholder to kind of get them on board. Or maybe it's something where the stakeholder suggested it, something to me that would make them feel more comfortable. Like, hey, Lawrence, before you move on with this project, I really think that you should go over and benchmark with this particular company and try to learn a little bit from them. If I can go and do those things that they're recommending for me to do in order to kind of shift their level of commitment to the project, that's always a win. A couple of things that I want to highlight that are possibilities that you might experience in the course of your projects. One is you may have some stakeholders that right off the bat, they're exactly where you need them to be. And so that's always a good thing. And so you just want to make sure that you do some things to sustain it. It's not depicted here, but sometimes I've had examples where the X's and the O's were reversed, right? To where I had a stakeholder that when I first met them, they said, man, I really feel responsible for making this happen. And they're almost kind of fighting with you on leadership of the project when actually you really need them more, maybe more just helping to make it happen or just maybe just being permitting and allowing it to happen. And so you almost having to think about what things can I do to help this stakeholder kind of maybe shift their level of commitment downward a little bit in order to allow the project team to really do some of the work that they've been commissioned to do. Again, this is it's a living document that I usually use throughout the course of the project. My personal approach is to basically use this as a document that I hold close to myself to where I only look at it and I only manage it. I've met plenty of people that as they're managing their projects, they'll bring in a team of people and it's a collaborative kind of a group discussion. So sometimes those conversations though can get a little guarded because people are uncomfortable maybe making some critiques and saying some things about really powerful and important stakeholders inside the organization. So again, this is a simple tool that you can use to kind of manage and think through how to manage your stakeholders as you're working through your projects and making your organizations more resilient. If you like this video, please feel free. Please definitely like it. And then also please, if you don't mind, subscribing to our channel. Thank you and take care.